All right, what's up, guys? All right, look, I wanted to talk a little bit about self-esteem, why it's important, and how to have better self-esteem. There is a quote or a line from an Avett Brothers song, and it's something like this. It's like, I want to have pride like my mama had, not like the kind in the Bible that turns you bad. That is a beautiful line, and that's what we're talking about, guys. The good kind of pride, okay? Self-worth, self-dignity, self-care, self-love, self-truth. Drinking more water. Look, but don't be fooled. I just got done drinking coffee. Anyway, so we're talking about self-esteem, and one reason it's important. Let's take the Bible as an example. What did Jesus say? He said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." There's an implication there, and the implication is that you love yourself. Okay, that you are doing things that are in your best interest. This doesn't mean selfishness. All right, that's just silly. This just means that you're not out seeking self-harm, self-destruction. You're not berating yourself and belittling yourself, because let's face it, oftentimes we are our worst critics, right? The struggle, the fight is usually inside. Most of the things that we get upset about is just up here. And that's what we're talking about, okay? So today, I'll give you an example. Well, I won't tell you if this really happened. Maybe it did or maybe it didn't. But seeing a mother and daughter, and I was doing after I had examined them and talked to them, etc. They left, and I was doing the end of the charting and sending in a prescription for the treatment we had discussed. And I, filled out the chart, did all this, and then I hit enter, which electronically submit the prescription. And I look up, and the picture was of the wrong patient. In other words, I had gotten the two mixed up, the daughter and the mother, their charts. And so I sent the prescription for the mother. I sent the daughter's prescription in for the mother. Now, not that big of a deal. All I had to do was call the pharmacy, cancel the prescription, and then erase that out of the chart and fix it. And that's what I did. But my immediate response was, you only had one job to do. You're such an idiot. You always do dumb things. That's kind of like that inner monologue that starts to tell you those things. And I think we all have that at times. And the problem with some people, especially people who suffer with depression, that inner monologue just runs and runs and runs and runs them down. So, how do you break that cycle? What do you do with that inner monologue that's beating you up? You fight back. That's one thing. You fight back. Talk to yourself, okay? When you notice these negative thoughts come in, you got to stop and you've got to reevaluate the situation. So what I could do was, when I think, I'm an idiot, I could think, well, actually, I don't do this all the time. And in fact, this is the only time I've done this today, this week, this month, this year. I actually had, and I had that thought, you only have one thing to do. You've probably seen those memes, you only had one job. But the truth is, I got multiple jobs to do, right? I have to evaluate the patient. I have to talk to them. I have to examine them. I have to figure out the diagnosis, the differential diagnosis, the treatment options. I'm reviewing all these things. So just because it ended up being a kind of a simple plan for her, there was a lot went into my life to be able to have the answer to that simple plan. And again, I'm just giving you this example from my life to show you that it happens to everybody, no matter how absurd it is. Sorry guys, I'm turning the air conditioner up. It's Mississippi, it's July, it's hot. Hope that background noise is not too bad. But anyway, so when you notice these negative thoughts, stop and evaluate them, okay? Notice what's illogical about the comments you're making. Are you overgeneralizing the situation? You're probably using some cognitive distortions in your thinking, okay? And so just reframe it. Redirect your mind to show, no, that's not the truth. And tell yourself, no, actually, this was just, this was a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. No one is perfect, and I'm not perfect either. And the good thing is, I found my mistake, and now I can correct it. So always, reframe it in the positive. And this is going to help you with your feelings of self-worth and combating this self-doubt and self-criticism that everybody has and everybody struggles with. But if you don't fight it when you notice it, you're just going to let these thoughts just continue, and you're going to be living in this cycle of self-criticism, which is going to make you depressed and anxious, and it's going to keep you struggling, whether that's struggling with drugs or alcohol, porn addiction, gambling, or breaking your relationships down, or just constantly fighting with others, or constantly feeling like you're not living up to other people's standards. And the reason you struggle with these things is because you're not living up to your own standards. And the reason you think you're not living up to your own standards is because you're too self-critical. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have self-standards. But what I'm saying is, you are your own worst enemy. So the answer to that is become your best friend. Build your self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is not about false self-confidence, and it's not about being cocky or arrogant. But self-esteem is this strange belief that you're good enough, that you have value, okay? That you're worthy of love. Those are the three biggies right there. This is not rocket scientist. And the thing is, I'm not telling you something you probably don't already know, but I think it's good to hear it. Because it is so easy to fall into the trap of self-defeat and self-criticism. And sometimes it's good to just hear that everybody's going through it, and that there's a way through it. You can get to the other side, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. All right, look. Leave a comment. Ask me some questions if you want, or don't. Like, share, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. All those things everybody tells you to do, or don't. I just want you to focus on the thoughts that you're putting out there, and I want you to talk back to yourself and fight the enemy of self, which is the self, and just be happy, man.